Hi Rosie, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Mike?
Yes, good, good, thanks.
Very
Thanks
good.
for agreeing to this testimonial. I just want to use this next 15 to 20 minutes just to go through your experience of us working together for the last 3.5 months, because I think today is day 101, is it not?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, amazing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. Yes, 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 it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
So,
going to say somehow, but it's not somehow. It's down to this, what we're about to
oh,
talk about.
yeah, great stuff, good stuff. Yeah, and it's just really just gonna just kind of share your experience in the hope that we can help somebody else with with
Yeah.
what your experience is, because every client's experience is different, and
Yes.
we'll get into that and how you found this experience. So, if you don't mind, we'll just jump straight on in. And we've known each other for the last 3 months, but if you just want to kind of tell the people that are watching a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get straight into it.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Where do I even start with that? It could be 3 hours. But long story short, though, yeah, so my name's Rosie. I just turned 40 in September. And life has turned out nothing at all like I thought it would. Like by 40, I thought things would be really different. And yeah, sort of the last 20 years or so, it's been really, really kind of affected, marked by various kinds of addiction, with alcohol being the main sort of driving force behind them all, and the one that kind of pops up the most, yeah, regularly, I suppose, as a coping
Mm,
mechanism.
yeah.
Um, so along with lovely things about life and myself, I like rituals, I like supporting people, I like nature, art, that kind of thing. So there's been lots of lovely threads going through the whole time too. But there also has been this thread of sort of difficulties with mental health and undiagnosed until recently neurodivergence, PTSD, migraine, things like that. And they've all
Mm,
sort of interacted and interplayed with each other in a way that led me to, yeah, really needing a bit more support, in particular with the alcohol. Yeah, a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit about me and how we've
Yeah,
got here.
thanks, Rosie. Yeah, thanks for that. And what was the biggest challenge that you had before we started working together?
So I think the biggest challenge was, I suppose, doing it alone. A feeling like I had to, um, and being stuck in this what felt, you know, over 20 years, felt like an endless cycle, um, of trying to stop drinking and not being able to, or being able to for a short amount of time, and it always finding its way back in again, and getting very, very stuck across the board in all areas of life. So I'd say stuckness is really the biggest issue. Just in every area, health, well-being, fitness, just, work, money, relationships, absolutely everything kind of stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So a real stuckness and wanting to kind of
Yeah.
allow that movement forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for that. And
You're
what made you
welcome.
decide to invest in working with me?
With you,
Yeah,
with Mike. Well, I really love your name on Instagram. Like you put the introversion straight out there,
yeah,
which is quite an extroverted thing to do. But that was one of the main things, really, because it just already gave me such a window into kind of how this kind of connection could be and how well we could work together. Because I'm a huge introvert, even though I'm really kind of chirpy and bubbly and this kind of thing. Like probably a lot of people think that I am an extrovert, but I'm not really, or just in certain very specific situations. And it's something that it's quite difficult to explain to people who are extroverts. And I think in this culture, we're really, really trained to be as extroverted as possible, and that's celebrated and lifted up and that kind of thing. And so for someone like me who just sort of recently diagnosed autistic and the rest of it, who is just like introverted down to my bones and always have been, always will be,
yeah,
seeing the introverted just in your name and Instagram, I was like, like it's already a way off. Like, okay, I don't have to explain all of that bit.
yeah.
Um, like, I mean, I know like we've got maybe differences in neurotype and things like that. But just naming yourself as an introvert was really, really the main thing that got my attention at first of wanting to work with you, because I was just like, oh, I don't have to explain so much of this, like off the board. There's already a certain level of understanding,
Mm.
which is really nice when you're about to tackle something that's already difficult. Like, why have more barriers?
Yeah.
um, and it's so related to the drinking too. It's not just a random thing. Oh, I'm introverted. It's then how that interplays with addiction and masking and alcohol and the rest of it. So that was a really big draw for me.
Yeah. Thanks, Rosie. Yeah. And
Mm.
yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think people have a misconception of introvert being shy, and they're different things.
Mm.
And yeah, I speak on camera quite a lot, and I'm quite confident speaking like at events, but I much prefer the one-on-one. And there's a there's a whole number of reasons, about what is introversion and what is extroversion, and I think they're confused sometimes. So it's really nice to hear that that was one of the reasons,
Mm.
that kind of like that you kind of wanted to work with me. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Main
great.
thing, definitely.
Yeah. So, what were your initial thoughts and feelings for the first few sessions of us working together?
Oh, honestly, I was just so relieved to not be doing it by myself anymore. And not just to be doing it by myself, but to be kind of receiving this kind of support from, yeah, somebody that did have a lot of that or already kind of pre-understanding of introversion. Um, and it was just so obvious so quickly, like how sort of just really kind and compassionate and empathic that you are. And that was really comforting. It was so comforting. And we've spoken a lot about how I'm autistic and ADHD, and your curiosity about that was really, really lovely. And it felt like you were genuinely interested in that. It wasn't like, oh, this isn't, I don't know, it was not performative. It was just genuine curiosity and I'm trying to, well, like, what's the word? A real sense of like safety, like really, really a huge
Right.
sense of safety and
Right.
grounding.
Yeah.
Um, and I just felt like, oh yeah, okay, great. This is exactly what I needed to go forwards. Yeah, because a lot of us, like we're trained to be extroverted, we're also trained to be like so super hyper independent, and there can be quite a kind of forceful kind of vibe or narrative about how we like pull ourselves up by our bootstraps or whatever the sayings
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And um, it was just really nice to be in the company of somebody who really cared and who've been through it themselves. Like that was a really important thing too, because obviously there are a lot of really great counselors and therapists in the world out there, but it really makes a huge difference when you know you're working with somebody that has been through the same thing that you have been through, and like has that again, it's that like shared understanding thing. It's like I
Mm.
know the whole scope of thing is like there
Mm.
already,
Mm.
um, and I just knew that it was what I needed, and that doing it by myself, it just wasn't an option anymore. Like I tried that, I tried that really hard, and it didn't work.
Yeah. Okay.
um, so there was just a lot of comfort and relief, and like, oh, I know this is going to be really helpful, like straight away.
Mm. Oh, great. That's great to hear. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting that shared understanding, isn't it? Yeah,
Mm.
it is a shared understanding, but I absolutely appreciate that your journey is absolutely unique as well. But
Yeah.
just somebody that's kind of
Yeah.
had to remove alcohol from their life as well. Yeah, I can appreciate that must be an advantage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like with the introversion and the alcohol thing, like it's almost secondary to me that you also have a master's in counseling, which is just like a great bonus to the other things.
Thanks. So,
Yeah.
were there any specific breakthroughs or results that you experienced since starting this program?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to really start with those when I actually kind of sit down and think about what's changed. Um, but I guess everything that has happened for the positive, which has been a lot, could fall under the that category of becoming unstuck.
Mm.
Um, I just can't even describe the level of stuckness. It was like I was in a straitjacket of myself for like
Mm.
years and years.
Yeah.
Um, and it's given me a chance to start unraveling and kind of being able to kind of look outside myself, kind of see myself from the outside more instead of being so just like confined to this little pod of suffering.
Mm. Mm.
um, and yeah, so much has changed already, and I feel like it's been like a really good grounding, and it's like it's opened like opening the doorway for all the things that could
Yeah.
come next. So things that have improved. I've although I know like I really am an introvert and always will be, I have become a bit more social. I'd become so isolated,
Mm.
and because there's only about two or three people that I really want to see in my life anyway,
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of family, but I
Yeah.
wasn't even seeing them.
Okay.
um, and so it's just kind of opened things up in all areas. So like that, for example, I'd stopped doing any kind of exercise and I'm starting to do that again. Oh, I'm
Mm.
not sure if I shared this with you yet. I'm doing a 16-week program with the Canal Van in Beaumaris, like an exercise
Amazing.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My sleep has improved. I was literally just over the moon this morning because I looked at my watch and I got 8 hours and 37 minutes of uninterrupted sleep, which is just unheard of.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic. What a
starting
win.
to feel much more myself, uncomfortable in myself, and in expressing myself as well, because quite a lot of my work is quite outward facing, like it's
Mm.
organizing rituals for
Mm.
groups of people.
Mm.
Um, and I just haven't really had the energy or the confidence to do it for a while.
Mm.
And that sort of naturally just started opening up again. Just putting my volume up a little bit. It started raining here.
Yeah.
Um,
It just has here actually. Yeah. I was just worried about it a minute ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
because
been passing
we're really
over.
close to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. 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 The first client I've had on this on the island. Amazing.
Yeah, wild. So it's like basic, just like an opening up of things. So life and everything had gotten very small,
Mm.
and now it feels like everything is starting to expand again, and like
Mm.
it's the beginning of that, and it's starting to expand.
Mm. Great.
Mm.
Great. Awesome. And you kind of answered this a little bit, this question, in as much as how this session impacted your personal, professional life and overall well-being. So your professional life, it's really affected or
Hmm.
been a benefit to those rituals and the work that you do around that. So I'd love to know a
Yeah,
bit more about that as well.
yeah, definitely. So I feel like it's kind of reintroducing me to myself again,
Mm.
because these were all things that I sort of have been doing, and started in a 3-year period of sobriety from a few years ago. So it
Yeah.
was like that sobriety then kind of started allowing me to really come out of my shell
Mm.
and do these things.
Yeah.
But then sort of life experiences and stuff that happened since then kind of shut it all down again.
Mm.
Um, so having this support and having this kind of container of this time of being sober, I feel like it's sort of like that past version of me being like, "Hello, I'm still here. Like, nice to meet you
Yeah.
again."
Yeah.
I like getting to know myself again in that way. Um, and that sort of space to see myself from the outside, because I suppose when you're really consumed in addiction and all the suffering that goes with it, um, it's very insular and insulated, and just you're just sort of in your own
Mm.
head and kind
Mm.
of pain and body so much. And
Mm.
yeah, like I was sort of describing things to get kind of smaller and smaller. Um, and I just kind of ended up really like hating myself really and thinking I was like useless and worthless and
Mm.
like I used to be able to do this and now I can't and
Yeah.
oh my God and and a lot of catastrophizing about it.
Yeah.
So it's helped me be a lot more objective and grounded about myself and seeing myself, which includes seeing my work and the reality of it and what
Mm.
I can do, especially when I'm sober.
Amazing. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that.
you're
Was there
welcome.
one moment that when we was working together that it felt like everything clicked for you?
One moment, I think. Hmm. Let me have a little think about that. I think I'm such a complicated person that it's hard for me to narrow down
Yeah.
narrow things down to one
Yeah.
moment. Um, I think probably the most important moment was like starting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was almost like I had all of this stuff in me that needed to be seen and supported, that was
Mm.
kind of just waiting for permission. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're enough to have this support. Like,
Yeah.
this is important. Your struggle with this thing is important. It matters.
Yeah.
Um, and as soon as that container was there, it's sort of like everything that I was suspicious could be true. Um, like I could be feeling better, I could be sleeping better,
Mm.
work could
Mm.
start flourishing again, I could start seeing my friends again. Even though it didn't start straight away, there was something in me that just knew that it was going to start and it was going to be okay. So
Yeah.
I think like just having the container at all and meeting you and starting,
Mm.
that feels like the most important point. And I just sort of, I
Mm.
didn't know how it would look, but I felt like I really knew intuitively at that point, okay, things really are going to
Yeah.
be different and it's going to be okay. And the companionship was like the most important
Mm.
piece.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Great. That's great to hear.
Mm.
And what would you say to somebody who is, and this is the final question, by the way. So, what would you say to somebody who sat on the fence, who's kind of considering working with an alcohol-free coach or a therapist? Yeah, what would you say to them who they're kind of on the fence?
Just do it. I had to stop myself shouting about the whole time you were saying that sentence. Yeah, seriously, just do it. Um, it's worth it. You're worth it. And it's just so important because it's sort of the door or the gateway to everything else that could be possible in your life. And this is the bit that needs to come first. Like all of the other stuff for me anyway wasn't going to happen while I was still drinking the way I was and kind of just treating myself the way I was treating myself. Like
Mm.
everything was going to stay a kind of distant possible kind of fantasy. Like it could be that way. I could do that
Okay.
if this, if that.
Mm.
Um, but it was just impossible to work on anything that would actually bring me those things.
Yeah.
And like my daily routines and rhythms and rituals were just also out of whack, you know,
Mm.
food, sleeping, everything was just, it was
Mm.
just terrible. I was just getting kind of more and more ill and exhausted.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say really, really just do it because it doesn't have to take that much time. Like 100
Mm.
days feels like a really good
Mm.
length of time
Yeah.
to see what could be possible for the whole rest of your life. And I think it's really important too, this piece of not trying to do it by yourself
Mm.
um, and going against that conditioning that you sort of got to be a bit tough and a bit cutthroat to kind of survive in this culture. But we're still, I remember, I think it was in a Francis Weller book. He says that we still wake up every morning as Stone Age children. Like our
Mm.
bodies and our nervous systems don't know that we're not in a Stone Age anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that we need people, we need each other.
Mm.
We need to be in community and companionship. And a lot of us that have these really intense, like deeply woven into our being kind of struggles with addiction have been really lonely for a long time and they've
Mm.
been let to get so bad because we haven't had the right support
Yeah.
and have maybe not even ever been taught like how to ask for it
Mm.
and
Mm.
how to be together with another person
Mm.
in a really kind of vulnerable way and that like in a way that
Mm.
we deserve help
Yeah.
but we don't heal in isolation. I mean, obviously, there's a lot you can do by yourself and a lot of good choices you can make. But really, for me, I feel like the magic kind of starts happening, and you get the most out of it when you can be in these healing spaces and receive support from other people, because we need that mirroring from other humans.
Mm.
And a lot of what's been mirrored to us, which is kind of caused a lot of these problems has been like false or really negative or just nothing to do with truth at all. Like it's other
Mm.
people's projections, it's their
Yeah.
traumas, it's the culture which is really violent and messed
Mm.
up. So it's really helpful to work with another person in these areas, especially I mentioned earlier about kind of throwing it away. Oh, yeah, I've got a master's as well. But obviously that is amazing. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, plus you have these other two really major things that you've been through struggles with alcohol yourself and have had to remove it from your life, which is a really big thing. And you're also an introvert.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, and
You're welcome.
thanks so much for your insights today. It's been really important, and I'm
Good.
sure many people will get a lot of value from this. So I really
Oh,
appreciate it.
great.
And
You're
yeah,
welcome.
thanks, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.